sometimes the term influence can be misconstrued.
You gave yourself maybe a little bit more freedom in experimenting with new sounds, but at what moment do you have to say, stop, now we're going too far?
That's interesting.
Yeah, no, I think if it's one person, it's harder to, that's why a lot of times people who make, one person bands, they can make that record for 20, years. You hear about those, legendary records being made. For us, I think you have a group. You have each one of us kind of keeping the other one in check a little bit, and that's why I do think actually being in the studio, having deadlines, timelines is a healthy thing. You should figure out how to say what get out from the song what you want to say within a certain amount of time. If not, yeah, you can keep making the record. You can keep making it better and better and better. But I don't know if more time means better always. I think I wouldn't change a thing from our first record. It didn't cost us, we didn't get to spend very much money to make it. We had to make it really quickly, but I mean, that's what it was. That's what we were giving, and there's something very special about that. So I think timelines, even if when I'm going through the deadlines, they kill me because you're like, this is art, I don't know, I need more time. But I think there's something healthy about that, making decisions, hopefully you make the right one, accepting decisions that you make. And if it's really didn't work out, that decision, you can go back and be like, let's make it right, But ultimately, I think it's good to work within certain, rules like that.
Yeah, I think it keeps that snapshot of time, keeps it honest, keeps it what it is. I think, we've been making records for almost 10 years. I think we know how to do that, and you got to trust yourself a little bit to know when you're kind of stretching things too far out of proportion to where the initial sentiment you're trying to, convey or musical message or whatever is going to be blown out of proportion. So that's why the element of time is, you got to keep that in mind. And like Daniel was saying, it's not one man guiding the whole thing. It's like, it's four very strong-willed individuals, which at the end of the day, it works.
What is the snapshot of this new album, do you think?
Well, it is the work itself. I mean, I think it's a product of, what Daniel just said, kind of being more open to different instrumentation, especially in the world of keyboards. I think there's a different approach rhythmically with the bass and drums on this record. I mean, there is that thing that Carlos and I do, but I think we kind of stretch that a little bit, and towards the end of the record, things are not as rock heavy and with big heavy drums, and I think it's pretty interesting to kind of let the melody breathe a little more, and not could have easily filled it up with a bunch of heavy drumming, but I think we all felt that it would be more interesting. And it says something, it really adds a different connotation to what the melody is trying to express. So, I mean, I think there's quite a few different snapshots on this that were captured that are very, as honest as can be.
Yeah. So if you're looking back to maybe your first three albums, you were telling about this snapshot as being a musical one. But if you look at your previous three albums now, and if you could describe a snapshot of that. Is it also only a musical snapshot, or maybe also a snapshot full of memories of things that have happened?
Well, I think, there's a lot involved. I mean, I came into the band 2 years after the band was formed. And so obviously, I think about 4 of the songs on Bright Lights were already being played for a couple years or over a year. And that first record is very much documenting what the band was at that time. The band went into the studio and did what it knew. It expressed, the life it had lived up until that point. And then with Antics, there's a little more confidence. We had a little more time, embellished a little more with keyboards and stuff. But, we were kind of staying within our boundaries, you know what I mean? I think wisely so, and not moving out of our comfort zone. I think with the third record, that comfort zone got pushed a lot further. And, I think possibly not going out on a limb, I don't think we were doing anything blindly, But again, you know, experience kind of informs where you can go. And by the time we got to this record, I think there was a great sense of ease and comfort, which influenced this record. I think, and it was really easy to be deliberate. You know, when Daniel would express an idea, Daniel and I work very closely together, usually at the beginning of our writing process. You know, I think a lot of things that we express to each other, you know, really didn't take a lot of words. You know, we kind of were able to, you know, kind of convey it verbally, and then more importantly, kind of execute it, you know, musically. And I think it's just, you know, it's all comes over a course of time. You know, the past definitely informs where you're going in the future.
Yeah, but maybe that feeling, the feeling of being more at ease, also came forward out of that you have grown as musicians as well.
Absolutely. Well, you know, we tour a lot. You know, and we are, I think, definitively, first and foremost, a band. You know, and I think we always bring that experience, whether we talk about it or not, into the writing process. Because, you know, you spend, you know, 16, 18 months on the road, you know, playing your whole body of work. You know, it makes you better. Yeah. You know, and then, you know, different experiences along the way, you know, with Paul, solo project, and, you know, the project I, you know, kind of delve into over the past couple of years, that informs a lot as well.